What's up, everyone? It's Mario here. I want to get into online dating. I know we're all doing it, or you will be doing it soon enough. And I want to get into, in this video, 10 types of people who are going to lose in the online dating world. So we're going to do a nice little list. I'm going to explain each of them because I think it's important that you understand that they're these types of people that you want to understand who they are so that you can not be them or not act like them, because these people are going to be some of the most unsuccessful in the online dating world. And you could take a lot of these premises and apply them to the dating world as well. So don't think this is just about dating. This is also for the online dating and dating world, okay? Just universal sort of information that should make sense to you, okay? Very first one is the type of people who refuse to acknowledge that online dating is a competitive atmosphere. So many people get into online dating and they just come from this entitled mindset, and I don't know where it comes from. Might be some upbringing, it might just be some blinders that we put on by yourselves, but you have to understand, online dating is competitive. Let me ask you this, is attraction easy? No. Is dating easy? No. Are relationships easy? No. Should online dating then be so easy? But a lot of you think it is going to be, or a lot of these types think that it's going to be, and that means that what happens if you don't think it's going to be competitive? You think that you can just show up, kick ass, and just dominate the online dating world, and it doesn't work like that, does it? You know, so these people who don't acknowledge the competitive atmosphere of online dating, they make mistakes like slapping up a profile in 5 minutes and then thinking that it'll be successful. They don't really give heavy consideration to their pictures. They don't give much consideration to their written content. They really don't think that they need to learn anything because they think, I'm just going to show up. Then they actually find their results and they're just waiting by their phone, waiting for some notifications. Then they don't come. And then they realize that they sent out 100 messages and got like 2 responses, and you know, like, it's just BS. Here's the thing. These types are unsuccessful because they don't want to embrace and respect that the attraction world is competitive. Like, it's a game. Life is like a game, you know? Like, if you want to win, you have to know what the rules are, what the better practices are, and you have to know that somebody else wants what you want and might be willing to work for it if you're not, and someone else is probably just as qualified as you. So what separates you? You always have to work on separating yourself, and the people who don't believe that online dating is competitive, they will struggle. So that's the first group that doesn't do well with online dating. Now, the second group that can't do well with online dating, the second type, are those who can't be objective. What do I mean by that? I mean that these people can only see the online dating world through their lens. For example, they put up pictures that are like, I like that picture. You know, a good example of that is like when women put their Snapchat filter pictures on their online dating profile. Tell you what, I'll bet they like that picture, and that's why they put it up. But let me ask you, what fucking guy loves a picture of your Snapchat where your face is covered with a dog, ears, whatever? We can't stand that shit. What we want to see is what you look like. What we want to see is what you, I mean, like, it's bad enough we can't tell what you look like without makeup, but now you want to fool us with these filters? No, just show us what you look like. You know, like, we want to see, just like you want to see our full body to make sure that we're not fat, or how tall we are, or whatever. We want to see the real you so that we can know what we're getting ourselves into. So for those of you who are making mistakes like that, it's because you're not able to be objective. You are very subjective, and it's your opinion that matters. You think this picture is great. You think this written content is great. You think this is the message that will score with somebody. Where what you need to be doing is identifying your targets, your dating targets. So with online dating, who are you targeting? What do they respond to? What sort of pictures do they want to see? What sort of physical and non-physical traits do they value? Because men and women have different things that they value. Do you know what they are? You know, are you abiding by what we know that science has told us that men and women look for and are attracted to? Or are you going your subjective route and thinking, well, I like this, so everyone else should like that. So if you can't be objective with online dating and remove yourself from the equation of your personal thoughts and opinions to think about what actually really works, what actually do the masses and your audience respond to, then you will struggle, all right? That's one thing that I really do as a coach. I offer the perspective of the general population to people who can't see it. So those people are going to struggle with online dating. However, you should know that this is something that you can develop, okay? Developing your sense of perspective, that's something that you can develop. It just takes you to create some awareness so that you can step back and acknowledge, well, that's how I would do things, but I guess maybe that's not how everyone would do things. That's growth, all right? You can get there. I had a great example of that in my online dating dynamics group. We're just having a discussion, and a woman said something along those lines. We're talking about online dating, and she said, well, she's like, well, that's what I would have thought, but I guess that's why I have a lot to learn, because she had this opinion about what worked, but she was displaying that. She was like, oh shit, I think this way, but maybe not everyone thinks that way. I need to think like everybody who will be seeing my profile. And I was like, that's it. You're growing, and that was a great opportunity for her to grow, because what she was doing was developing her sense of perspective, which is killer in the world of online dating or dating or attraction. But she was learning to be more objective and removing some of her subjective opinion about what was so great or what's not good, and what's received well, that sort of thing. All right, so that's great. All right, moving on. Number 3 type that does poorly with online dating: those who have a closed mind. Now, here's the thing. People who have a closed mind, they don't grow. And when you don't grow, you're stuck with only the knowledge and intelligence that you currently have. You won't be growing, you won't be learning from other people, and the way you would learn from others would be from people who have new, conflicting, or information and strategies that aren't what you believe in or think or are aware of. But that's how you grow. You grow from people who are different from you, who have different beliefs, values, knowledge. But if you have a closed mind, you will struggle with online dating, because guess what? There's no one that can reach you. There's no one that can tell you, you know what? You're not going to listen to your friend who's like, you know what, I would think twice about that picture where you're like bent over and you're showing your butt, and I can't even see your face. I'm not sure guys are going to get like the right impression of you when you have that picture. Your closed mind is like, whatever, it's clear, like I'm totally going to get respected. Like, you better respect me because like I'm a strong woman, and like you can't just talk to me like that. She can't listen. She's not listening to the common sense that her friend is giving her. Like, hey, yeah, I think guys are going to misinterpret you. You're saying you want, a serious relationship and you have these values. Yeah, you're showing your ass off like you're an Instagram hoe, and you're expecting to have great results. If you have a closed mind, you're not listening to that friend. And that friend has a damn valid point, okay? Closed minds don't grow, and closed minds aren't what the business world wants. Closed minds aren't what the relationship or what relationships want. Closed minds aren't what attraction dating and online dating, what they reward. It doesn't work like that. People value like open minds, because otherwise it just leads to conflict, and it leads to someone being upset because their one way, which is the only thing that they've known, may not work, and they don't know what to do because they've got no plan B. Why? Because they don't listen to anybody. They have a closed mind. So if you have a closed mind, you will probably struggle with online dating because nobody can tell you anything. All right. Number 4. Kind of feeding off of that closed mind, we're going to get into those who are stagnant with their personal development. These people are going to struggle with online dating because they're not growing anymore. If you're stagnant, it's like you might as well be getting worse, because the longer you're alive, the more experiences you should be getting, the more exposure you should be getting, the more education you should be getting. But if you're stagnant, there isn't that bump continuously of more education, more exposure, more experience. You're just like this. And that's who you are. And who wants to be with somebody like that? If you're the same person at age 20 that you are at age 30, that you are at age 40, that's very unattractive. We want you to grow in so many different ways, but if your personal development is stagnant, you might as well consider that going down, okay? Because if you're not growing, you're getting worse, okay? You're going to be perceived as worse because in the meantime, everyone else mostly is learning some life lessons, and beyond that, some people are like going out of their way to improve themselves consciously through their education, through exposure, through experience, and meanwhile, you're like, I don't do new experiences. I don't do exposure to new things. I don't do education. And what you don't do either is good results. All right. So I want you to understand that with online dating, your self-development is critical to your success. If you're stagnant with it, you don't have new things to talk about. You don't have new insights. You don't have anything to, it's going to be difficult for you to have conversation. It's going to be difficult for you to, grow in your social awareness if you're not practicing any new behaviors or getting into some uncomfortable situations that cause you to grow a little bit. Like you have to constantly be pushing yourself. And those who don't push themselves aren't going to do well with online dating, all right? Because they're not learning new skills, even if part of that self-development might be learning online dating game. Definitely you have to understand that those people who are not trying to get better, like if you're trying to do well at online dating, sure makes sense that maybe you should educate yourself, Get Game Group has courses on online dating. And, those are the things where some people are going to be like, nope, I don't want to get better. But those people who do want to get better, and they're like, yeah, I want to actually, I would love to learn more about like this world of and how people are interacting, what they respond to, what are the better practices. Hell yeah, I'm doing online dating, so I want to learn all those better practices. Guess what? That person crushes it, where the person who's stagnant in their personal development, they're not growing anymore, and they're definitely not trying to get better. So they get passed up in this online dating world, just like they do in the regular dating world. All right, number 5, the type that does not do well in the world of online dating is the I'm good enough crowd. Now, I know this sounds great, but this is pure bullshit, all right? This is conventional, traditional wisdom that's been passed along without any real evidence of its success, all right? It's like an old wives' tale of, how you can be successful, but it doesn't work, all right? This I'm good enough, are you, if you don't have the results, are you really good enough? No. You get better. This I'm good enough is just a whole it's just a way of deflecting and justifying your lack of effort, lack of improvement, lack of pushing yourself to grow. It's like, I'm good enough. People should accept me as is. No. If you were applying for a job, and they said, okay, well, do you part of the job is like, obviously, what job doesn't want you to continuously like get better and refine your skill? You ever want to show up to a job interview and be like, I got it. Guess what? I've got like a college bachelor's degree. So how about that? And they're like, that's great, but fuck your bachelor's degree. What experience do you actually have in our field? How could you benefit our company? And you're like, but I've got a bachelor's degree. And they're like, that's great. Now get the fuck out of here and let's move on to the next person we want to interview, who isn't just saying like, I'm good enough as is. They're looking for somebody who's like, I got a bachelor's degree. I've been doing interns. I actually interned for your company, and I did that for 2 summers in a row. I worked under such and such, and I had such and such for a mentor, and I was involved in these projects. I worked on these skills, and blah. Look, you're just stacking all these different things that your college degree wasn't good enough, all right? There's something more, and that's how it is in life, whether it's dating, online dating, or attraction. If you think you're good enough, well, let's check your results. Most people don't have the results to be like, I'm good enough, because the people who are getting results, they're always looking for ways to get better. Ever notice that? The people who are the most successful with dating, online dating, or even business, do you think you know some of these people? How do you find them? You find them, and what are they doing? They're like reading books. They're like watching videos, and they're going to workshops. They're trying to get better, all right? Because the people who are really crushing it, they don't think I'm good enough. They're like, I'm pretty good, but I can get better. All right, that's where you need to be successful. You need to be growing. And if you think I'm good enough, you might be surrounded by a whole bunch of enablers who are doing you no fucking favor. All right, what you need to do is surround yourself with people who will tell you the truth, because what people are probably doing is you saving your feelings or trying not to upset you and damage any relationship they have with you. But in the meantime, they're perpetuating this myth that you are good enough. Fuck no. All right, keep on thinking you're good enough until you show up to that job interview. Keep on thinking you're good enough until you take that standardized test. Keep on thinking you're good enough until you don't get the date. Keep on thinking you're good enough till you have no romantic success. It's total bullshit. If you think that you're really good enough, that's something coming from a really either naive or egotistical place. And I'm not saying that you are a bad person, but I would encourage you to jump and separate yourself from this I'm good enough already sort of mindset. No, you're not. And what I would encourage you to do is employ the mindset of actually the most successful, who are never like, I'm good enough. They're like, I'm pretty damn good, but I'm looking for ways to get better. I'm always trying to get better. That is what's going to be much more successful in the online dating world. All right. Number 6, the type that doesn't do well with online dating, the type that is like, well, I just leave it to God, the universe, and fate. And if they find somebody for me, they do. No, you don't leave it in the hands of whatever higher power, as if some higher power is looking out for you and is like, well, I've let them wait 40 years, but on the 41st year, I'm going to actually just sprinkle them with all sorts of amazing success. It doesn't happen like that. You know what does happen? People get proactive, people take action, people work to improve themselves. They put their results in their hands. They take their fate and their success and put it on them so they get better. And when you get better, your competency gets better. When your competency gets better, your success gets better. Funny how that works, right? So sure, you can say like, I'm leaving it to fate, when God will see fit to find me a partner when it's just right. I have to tell you, that's complete bullshit. It's such a reactive approach where there's nothing empowering about that. It's just saying like, I'm gonna huddle in my little safe corner because I'm too scared to get out here in the world and take some chances and be proactive and sometimes fail when I'm trying. That's what that is, all right? Because there's nothing strong about like huddling in a corner and waiting for some sprinkle of fairy dust from some sort of higher power to now make you happy and successful. No, you got to go get it, okay? All right, stop thinking that there's some higher power that is specifically looking out for you in a world full of, what, 7 billion people? That makes sense. I don't care what your beliefs are. It's insane to rely upon that as your strategy for online dating success. I'm gonna leave it into the higher power, and when it works, it works. No, that's complete bullshit, and you need somebody who will call you out on that. So hopefully that's not you, but if that is you, I'm not saying that to you to be a dick. I'm saying that to you to be a friend and to be your coach and to help you, because you have to get away from that mindset of being like, I don't have to do anything because of course God's going to take care of it. No, you need to take care of your own life and stop presuming that there is some higher power that specifically wants to make sure that on your 48th birthday, now you're going to be successful and now you're going to have this great relationship. No, go after it. You just wasted, X amount of years doing all that. If it ever comes, all right? Be proactive, not reactive. All right. Number 7 type that doesn't do well with online dating, it's those who have a victim identity, all right? You know who these people are? These are the people who approach online dating with like, like everybody's just like out to use me, and like women just see me as like money and like I'm just gonna pay for their dates, a victim mentality. Women are just trying to like use me for their entertainment, victim mentality. Or let's flip it the other way. Guys are just trying to use me for sex, all this victim mentality. Whatever it is, male, female, you can both have a victim mentality, and this isn't going to function very well for you because 1, people are turned off by it, okay? 2, who can you attract who would appreciate a victim mentality? Someone else who is just as unhealthy mentally as you. you got to overcome this victim mentality and grow some strength, okay? I know it's not easy all the time, but when you have a victim mentality, like, what can you attract? Do you think you're going to attract the top 20%, the men and women that you really want to attract with a victim mentality? And when you write in your online dating profile, I don't even know why I'm doing this anymore. Like, there's nobody real out here. Like, I don't, is there anyone, are there any good guys, any good women left? Victim mentality. All right. Don't show your baggage in your online dating profile. Don't speak it. You need to move forward. So let's get rid of this victim mentality. These do not do well in the online dating world or any attraction world. Okay. Number 8. This is a real interesting one. All right. Number 8, the types that don't do well with online dating, and these apply to dating as well. Men and women with mismatched personalities. Now let me clarify that. What I mean is this. There is a more typical, general sort of personality that we can assign to men and one that we can assign to women. And basically what we can do is prescribe it or assign it the label of like masculinity and femininity. It really doesn't have much to do with gender, but because a man can be, he can have a masculine and a feminine personality, and they both do. Everyone has both masculine and feminine energy, but when it's displayed in a personality and it's mismatched, the problem lies when people don't realize it. So let me give you an example. One great example is, I work with a lot of women who are like successful, late 30s, early 40s, but they are like really super successful with their jobs, and they come to me with a complaint, and it's usually some of the same things. They're like, guys are intimidated by me. They think I'm too much like a guy, and they don't see me as a woman, and they're intimidated, and I don't know, but like, I'm just not into it. I'm just like, what they have is they have a very like, there might be some thoughts about like, hormonal levels too. I don't think there's enough information out there, but I'm looking for it and always trying to learn more. But there are these women who have more like masculine energy sort of going on for them. So that means that they're more direct. They're more success, like accomplishment driven. So like, like for them, the accomplishments, the professional status and accomplishments are very important to them. That drives them, and that's something that we typically prescribe or assign to men, right? And what do we assign to women? We assigned femininity to be like bringing life and energy and creating and also seeking harmony in relationships and being communicators, so we have that, and then we have the guys who are known as like not the most communicative, and they're more focused on accomplishment, and they're competitive. And so what happens is sometimes there are men and women with mismatched personalities. So the female can have a little bit more of what we would typically assign to like the man. So if she's, that career focused and really competitive and really direct, it's really difficult for her because she's like, I don't get it. Like, what you need to understand is like you're not like most women, all right? And that's not a bad thing. Everyone has masculine and feminine energy, just I think in different amounts, right? And that's okay. But the thing is, if you don't realize that that is an issue for you, then it can make it seem like everything is weird. And I can totally understand that, because for me, understanding my personality type really, really opened up my eyes, because it allowed me to understand like how I see the world, and also how few people see it like me. And that was just such a breakthrough for me. It was such freedom for me. And what that becomes is when I'm sharing this with women, it's not really hard. I can figure out who's who fairly quickly, because I can recognize it through all these times I've seen it and studied it. But there are these women that you just get into, and you're just like, you have to understand it's not you, but you are different. And, when I tell them, like, you just seem to display a little bit more of the masculine energy, and that doesn't mean that you don't like guys. It just means that you need someone that can handle that, which is going to require a different kind of man. And you need to understand that first about yourself so that you can know that about yourself and have that awareness so that you can bring that awareness to others, and that'll help you better identify better matches for you. Now, for women, that's great information. Now, for guys, sometimes we get these guys who are like, it's not just that they're super sensitive, okay? Because that's not enough. But there are guys who are, they fall into this like nurturing, nice guy, people pleasing, very appeasing sort of personalities, want to do for others. And what they tend to do is, like, these guys are the ones primarily who encompass the nice guys who get walked all over by women, and women don't find them attractive because they don't appear to be as masculine as guys who are more direct, who go after what they want, who can approach them and don't want to just be so friendly and people pleasing. They want, they say what they want and they go after it. So when they meet these guys, or these guys who have like basically this feminine energy within them, that's kind of assigned, that's part of who they are. If they don't understand that, they don't know what they're working against, because they don't know that they need to actually develop some other sides to kind of round out their personality and make it a little bit more well balanced. Because you can't, for them, they just can't be that people-pleasing guy and be successful with women like they want to be. They're going to get passed over and walked all over and over and over. And that's just something that they need to understand, just like the women needed to understand that you just have a little bit more masculine energy. Not that it's a bad thing, but once you understand these things, it makes a world of difference. But if you don't understand that you have mismatched sort of personality, and I don't even know a great way to call it. It's not so much personality, it's just like energy. But if it's mismatched, male to female, female to male, you will struggle because you don't know that you're a little bit different, and that requires you to have a different type of match. All right, you won't, like, there's general population who can mix with general population, and we have a group of men with strong feminine aspects within them that need a woman that can balance that, but it obviously that's not going to be the general population. The general population is like, give me a traditional man, and the traditional men want the traditional women. So the non-traditional guy who has the feminine sort of input into him a little bit more than others, he needs a woman that can handle that. Just like the woman who has a little bit more testosterone and masculinity in her needs a man who can handle that from her and to give her that balance. So those people are going to struggle in all worlds, but I need them to identify that. So if you know anybody like that, that might be the case where they just kind of have mismatched masculine, feminine energy from their gender. All right. It's kind of a tough one, but definitely one that I keep on investigating and learning much more about, because those groups are really overrepresented with the people that I'm working with, because they're the ones for sure struggling, because they have no clue why they're so different and why it's so much more difficult for them to date than their friends. All right, number 9, we have people who are going to struggle with online dating because they actually have a false identity. And these are people that I would say have created it themselves, and maybe others surrounding them have undoubtedly kind of participated in helping them create a false identity. These are the folks who think that they're something that they're not. So maybe they think that they're a leader, but actually that's bullshit, and people don't really listen to them, but they would like to be a leader, and no one has ever told them, like no one ever really listens to you. Or they think that they're more intelligent sometimes than they really are. Actually, we all think that we're more intelligent. Big deal. But some of us are really way worse about it. Some of us have like no grasp that we're not the smartest person in the room, or the previous room, or the previous room, or the previous room. So we all have different intelligences. But one thing that you have to understand is, who you are. And, some people can't. And some people, they just have this identity that they've created about themselves, and it's not accurate. And the problem is, if they believe it, If the person believes their fake identity is actually real, the problem is whether it's online dating or anything in real life, other people are going to see through that, and they're probably not saying anything, but they're not going to reward it. These people aren't going to be rewarded in business or attraction, dating, or online dating because you're like, you're a nice guy, you're a nice girl, but you're not this. You don't say it to them, but you just don't reward them. You don't go out with them. You don't return their messages, but you spot the incongruences, the mismatch in who they present themselves as and who you actually see them as. And because they're just like so far from making the connection of who they really are, it doesn't go rewarded. So for these people, when they actually have a false identity that they're trying to perpetuate and maybe other people have helped facilitate and create, it really isn't rewarded very well with online dating because people be like, yeah, it's like trying to present yourself as the tough guy when you're not, and it's trying to like present yourself as the soft guy when you're not, or trying to present yourself as the really caring person when you're really self-centered. Whatever it is, people are pretty good. You know, the general population will spot people who, you know, are just like presenting these false identities. Some people are better at recognizing it than others. Yes, that's true. But this is something where, you know, you just know it doesn't end well for people who have a false identity. All right. And number 10, let's finish up. Number 10 group, the type that doesn't do so well with online dating, pessimists. All right. If you are always seeing the glass as half empty, it's unattractive. Negativity is just plain old unattractive. People don't want to be around it more. All right, what do you bring to the table? It's like, oh, should I ask for seconds of your pessimism and negativity? Hell no. People don't reward that in online dating nor any facet of real life, okay? So pessimism, all right? I get it. You might have had some bad experiences. You might, might have got some poor breaks, whatever. Shit happens though. You know, but the thing is, the way you see the world, that's your decision, okay? Sure, some bad things are going to happen, but are you paying attention to all the good things? Are you paying attention to all the amazing things that have happened to you, all your great blessings, whatever it is? You need to, okay? Because I'll tell you one thing. It's really, really, really easy to be a pessimist. It's really hard to be an optimist because finding the silver lining when times are tough is fucking hard, okay? But it's so easy. It takes next to no effort, no intellectual genius type of intelligence to say something pessimistic. That'll never work. I don't think that's gonna do it or anything. It's not challenging. We can come up with negative statements and non-belief all day long. All right, it's much harder to be an optimist, but it's much more rewarding because people want to be around you more. So I would encourage you to employ more optimism and don't be the pessimist because, you know, like the pessimist, like, I don't even know why I have this online dating profile. It's not like and I'm going to meet anyone good. They actually write that, right? I don't even know why I'm doing this. That's written in some profiles. How do you think that plays out? Not very well. So I want you to understand that we've got 10 types that we've covered who are not going to do very well in the online dating world. So hopefully you have recognized these types, and I want you to seek to avoid being like any of them. If you see a little bit of yourself in some of these, separate yourself. Take action to change. If you need some help, reach out, do something. But we have to keep you from being any of these 10 types that don't do well at online dating. And for the most part, dating, attraction, even the business world, real life in general. All right. So hope you got some great information about that. We're trying to up your game. We want you to have better success and more happiness in your life, better options. So hopefully we planted some more seeds of knowledge and wisdom that will affect you and help you up your game. I want you to get those success. So good luck. Thanks for watching. If you appreciated the content, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And if you believe that learning about better strategies for life and love is advantageous, I invite you to join Get Game Group. Membership is free, open to men and women, offers weekly game video lessons, and a weekly mailbag for member submissions. Click the link in the description to join.